Hello, all. My name is Meki Mogus, and I am the president of the Nutrition and Food Science Club here at San Jose State University. Me and my colleague are here to do a little presentation about all things metabolism.
Awesome. Hey, y'all. My name is Karina, and I am the vice president of the Nuts Club. Um, we just want to thank you. We're so honored to be speaking to y'all today. We're super bummed that we could not visit you in person to do this Q&A, but we did our best to answer all your questions to the best of our ability. Um, There were three overall topics that the questions we received fit into. So we broke it down into metabolism, food and energy, as well as cellular respiration. So we're going to segue straight into our first category of metabolism.
And to kick things off, I'm going to start with a definition. So, metabolism is a chain of reactions that break down food into energy that the body can either use as ATP or can store the nutrient. And so you might be wondering, how fast is metabolism? And why do people have different metabolism speeds? So this is a little bit tricky because metabolism can vary from person to person depending on their age, sex, physical activity level, or genetics. Those are just a couple factors. There is a trend, though, that often those who participate in more physical activity will have a faster metabolism because their body uses more energy. And so remember, energy and food are known as calories or kcal, which is defined as the energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. Another common thing to know about metabolism is that everyone has a basal metabolic rate. And this is the minimum amount of calories a person needs to maintain their body functions, such as respiration, heartbeat, kidney function, brain and nerve function. And so when we think about metabolism, the body metabolizes two groups of nutrients. We have the macronutrients, which are commonly known as your carbohydrates, protein, and lipids. These nutrients all provide energy. So there's always a calorie associated with these nutrients. Not only that, but the amount the body needs is usually a large amount. In contrast to the micronutrients, we have vitamin, minerals, and water. All three of these do not contain any energy. However, vitamins and minerals, they're needed in significantly smaller amounts when comparing them to the macronutrients. So technically, metabolism never stops. This is because even our body's most basic needs, like breathing, will require some amount of energy. And since metabolism is all about creating energy, without this mechanism, we wouldn't be able to use the food that we eat. And if we were not able to use this, then our body would have to rely on its stores. But then once those stores are depleted, then the body would have to resort into digesting its own organs for energy and upkeep of metabolism. You might be wondering, does stress impact metabolism? And does it change as we age? So, stress does impact metabolism and the metabolic pathways. In periods of stress and inflammation, lipolysis, which is the breakdown of fat, and glycogenolysis, which is the breakdown of fat and glucose, increases. This results in more free glucose and more free fatty acids in the bloodstream. In addition, stress will inhibit insulin and can increase the risk of insulin resistance. So, insulin resistance is when your body can still shoot out insulin into the bloodstream. However, the receptors are desensitized to insulin, which will reduce the efficiency of glucose being uptaken into the cell. And so let's say that stress is chronic, then this can lead to metabolism being less efficient. And yes, as we do age, our metabolism does get slower. So this is due to losing cells over time and due to the loss of lean body mass, which is natural as we age. And in addition, individuals, as they age, they need fewer calories to sustain their bodily functions. Therefore, metabolism doesn't have to be as fast.
So, segueing into food and energy, let's first talk about calories. So, a calorie is a measurement of the energy content in food. So, as we discussed previously, metabolism is a chain of reactions that break down food into energy that the body can either use as ATP or store. So, metabolism basically breaks down those foods into calories that our body can use. On this slide, I put just how many calories per gram is in each of the macronutrients that we consume. Someone asked if specific foods and drinks give us more energy, and yes, this can be true. We can see here that lipids or fats are more calorically dense compared to protein and carbohydrates. So lipids generally contain 9 calories per gram, whereas carbohydrates and protein contain 4 calories per gram. So long story short, all foods give us energy, even quote unquote junk food. So there were a lot of questions about how different foods can give us energy. So certain products, like animal products, such as like meat, dairy, and eggs, will give some sort of combination of protein, and fat. Fruits and vegetables are made of carbohydrates, fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And even foods such as chips and candy are made of carbohydrates and fats. So we will get energy from them as well. So does it really matter what kind of food we eat? Yes, it really does. Even though all the foods provide energy, it is important to understand the difference between energy dense and nutrient dense foods. We typically try not to categorize foods as good or bad or even healthy or unhealthy, but more so try to understand the nutrients that each food can provide us. So let's take an example. Let's take a milkshake that has 200 calories. And on the other side, we'll have a bowl of Greek yogurt with fruit and granola, but it also has 200 calories. Even though both foods contain the same amount of calories or energy, the milkshake will be mostly comprised of sugar or carbohydrates and fat, which will quickly be utilized as energy and may cause a sugar crash, making you feel tired eventually. On the other side, the yogurt has some fat, some protein, some complex carbohydrates from the fruit and granola, and as well as fiber. This combination is very satiating, so it allows for a slower digestion and absorption process, which makes us feel fuller and fueled longer in most cases. So the milkshake in this case is energy dense, and the yogurt is nutrient dense. This is not to say that you can't drink a milkshake. We really just want to emphasize that all foods can fit into your overall diet, but it is important that we start to understand that our food choices, what they can and cannot do for our bodies.
All right, switching gears down to cellular respiration. So, is metabolism the human equivalent of photosynthesis? Which places in the body are foods and drinks transferred to? So, using this diagram as a refresher, you may remember that cellular respiration is the process of taking glucose and converting it into energy. Photosynthesis is the process plants use to turn sunlight into foods from carbon dioxide and water. This generally involves the green pigment chlorophyll and generates oxygen as a byproduct. But I'm not going to go too in depth into photosynthesis because you guys already covered that. Our bodies primarily use sugars, broken down from carbohydrates, for energy, which is similar to cellular respiration. As you might be able to tell that there is a theme. So across animals and plants, we can see that glucose is the favorite fuel source. But let's say if sugar levels drop in the bloodstream, then human cells in the human body can use fats as a secondary source, or if necessary, proteins. So metabolism is similar to cellular respiration, except for the fact that cellular respiration is very much glucose and carbohydrate focused, while metabolism is concerned with all of the macronutrients. So, how do different foods contribute to cellular respiration, or in our case, metabolism? So, the different macronutrients do have different purposes in the body. Carbohydrates, like we stated before, that's the body's main energy source. That's the favorite energy source. And that's what we primarily use. Fat is also an energy dense nutrient, like we learned before. And the body uses this mainly as storage. It also serves as a part of our immune system as a protectant. It's also an insulator. And when we run out of glucose in our body, we can take the fat stores and use it as a secondary fuel. So, kind of going on to the last macronutrient, protein is a fully functional nutrient. Our muscles, our organs, our enzymes, they're all proteins. And so, because of this, it is our last resource in utilizing fuel sources. And so, we only really use protein as in metabolism in extreme cases of starvation. So, in these cases, proteins will be broken down for energy. But because it is fully functional, this means that the individuals are digesting their own organs or digesting their own tissues for energy. And this will eventually lead to death by organ failure.
So, kind of segueing out of cellular respiration, we did get a question regarding pre-workout. So, supplementation, is it worth it? My answer is maybe, and it depends. When it comes to supplementation, it really is up to the individual and their needs. Um, and supplementation can be like protein powders, vitamins, mineral supplements as well. But depending on the supplement or brand regarding pre-workout generally contains a high amount of caffeine, which is a stimulant and doesn't provide energy. It also contains some vitamins, some amino acids, and some people choose to use supplements before a workout. You can simply just drink a cup of coffee for that stimulation and have a light snack, which is high in carbohydrates, such as a banana or even a bagel. And the body can use those carbohydrates as a fuel source during the workout, and the coffee can give that boost of caffeine. Um, so, really, long story short, you don't necessarily need to use supplements, but some individuals like to use it for the convenience. Um, Unfortunately, supplements are not regulated, meaning you may not necessarily know exactly what is in them or if the dosages are correctly labeled. So, we do recommend that you do a lot of research for your supplements. And it's also very common to make sure that they are third party tested, and then you can make that judgment for yourself. So, we want to thank you again for sending in your questions. We hope we were able to answer them. And if there's anything we want you to take away from this presentation, it's really that all foods can fit into your everyday life. Just avoid any foods that you're allergic to, foods that may cause some sort of intolerance, or any food that you simply don't like. Nutrition is a hard topic to navigate, especially with all the influence we see on social media. So, we want to emphasize that you use your critical thinking skills and really do your research for yourself, and ask those hard questions as well.
Yeah, and just to add on to what Karina said, we really hope that we were able to answer your questions. And if you have any follow-up questions, please let us know. We would be happy to answer some more. And we hope that the rest of your semester goes swell. And we're super excited for the future for you guys. This is a great start. Asking questions is a great way to get into things.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Bye.